Welcome to the Empowered Spirit Show. This is your host, Terry Ann Hyman. I'll explore the connection to the human spirit in a way that helps to navigate your life, including crisis. I am passionate about helping you to open up to your intuition and the metaphysical world of spirit to find your confidence in your own inner guidance. Take a pause, be inspired, learn ways to show up focused, centered, and more dynamic in your everyday life.
Welcome back to the Empowered Spirit Show. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining me today. This episode is being sponsored by Ritual and Shelter. Are you looking for a magical place to shop and hold space? Check out Ritual and Shelter online or in Homewood, Alabama. Browse through their bookshelves covering topics such as energy healing, crystal healing, Reiki, chakras, auras, the Akashic Records, shadow work, astrology, and earth-based healing. You can also find herbal teas and tinctures alongside their crystals and oils to help establish a mindful mindset and fluid ambience before meditation, ritual work, and reflection. Ritual and Shelter is dedicated to providing one-on-one, in-depth conversations with customers to help them find the most efficient healing methods and resources that match their unique interest and energy. They offer tarot sessions, Reiki, sound bowl, and crystal healing, and now they are offering witch consultations. Visit ritualshelter.com to book an appointment and bring peace back to the body, mind, and spirit. You can also find them on Instagram at Ritual Shelter Shop, as well as Pinterest at Ritual Plus Shelter. Welcome to 2025. Happy New Year. How are you? How are the holidays for you? Challenging, easy, exciting, a little bit of everything? Yeah, that's kind of how it was for me. But here we are, a new year. We're in the sign of Capricorn, which is an earth element, so it's very grounding, allowing us the opportunity to come into our body, to start to work with those new intentions little by little, step by step. We don't have to do it all at once, right? But that's the energy that we're in right now. Winter is the time to go deep, deep into our soul. It's a time to do all of that deep work, working with your ancestral energy, working with past life energy, opening up to those lessons. We don't want to repeat them, right? We want to break through. We want to get to the root of what's going on. It's all those experiences, all the many lifetimes too that you've had. Winter does that with us. It pulls the soul in. It invites us to go deep. It does bring up our family, our ancestral energies as well. What do you want to carry forward? What do you want to let go of? We honor it all. And then we choose the path that we want to walk through our dream time, through the intentions that we set. So having a spiritual practice can really help you to do that. Having the tools, the ways in which you can get out of the churning of the mind and open up to the deeper part of who you truly are. Focus your mind, sit quietly. I know that is definitely a challenging for many people. Unsure how to begin? There's a lot of stuff out there, a lot of things going on, and it can be hard sometimes to know who to talk to, who to trust. So I do offer. And many people take me up on this, and you can too. Schedule a spiritual upgrade, call with me, and let's chat. Let's talk about what's getting in your way and how a spiritual practice can help you open up to those deeper parts of you to move forward, to set the intentions you want for your life. Lots of cosmic forces coming in this year, lots of shifts, lots of changes. So having a spiritual practice can really help you go deep within and make the changes you seek. Now, I also have my soul work, working in the Akashic realm, all about learning to read your own records, connecting with your guides and your angels and the messages for your soul coming up. It can help you understand more and more about your path, about why you do what you do, and how to break through all of these old energy imprints. Not sure if this is for you either? You can also talk to me about this work and how it can help you break through these energy imprints. Very important to break through and let them go. And I'm actually having one more free training about working in the Akashic realm, and you can join in. And it will be all about breaking free of these energy imprints, what they are, what they mean, and how they hold us back. Check it out. I'll put the links for both the call and the training in the show notes. Come join me. Now is the time to go deep within the soul. In today's episode, as we journey deep into our soul, we continue talking about how we can work in the Akashic realm, and I'm so excited to share a guest with you who shares my passion as well, Saara Lee. We have so much in common, and she's put together an amazing Akashic Records Summit so that you can hear different perspectives about the value of working in this higher state of consciousness. Before we begin this interview, let's take a moment to pause, center, and set a New Year's intention for your path. So wherever you are, if you can, close your eyes. Taking a nice deep inhale, breathing up the body. And as you exhale, call all your energy into you. Call it in. Calling in the fire, the air, the earth, the water, all of the sacred elements, igniting that energy for you. Taking another deep inhale, breathing up the body. And as you exhale, begin to align all your energy, calling in the spiritual body to align right on top of the emotional, the mental, the physical bodies, centering, grounding. Inhale, expanding the breath up the body. And as you exhale, dropping right into your heart, right into the deepest part of your heart. Feel that connection, your spirit and the greater spirit. Know that you are loved, guided, protected. Feeling all this energy coming in around us, we call in our Reiki masters. We call in the teachers that have come before us. We call in the archangels to open the heart with joy and love. Calling in the crystal beings for amusement, magnification. Feeling all this energy coming in around us as we set this space, we take this time to honor this new year, this new season. And as I teach in the medicine wheel, we find ourselves in the direction of the north, where our dreams and our visions open up to us, calling in the directions to the north, the east, the south, and the west, above us, below us, right there in the deepest part of your heart. See and hear and feel and know these intentions for your path. And as you take that next breath, exhale it right through your heart, setting your aura with these intentions. Inhale and exhale, breathing all the way back down, deep into the earth, grounding your energy, feeling the heart open, feeling the illumination of your third eye, focusing in. And as you're ready, blinking the eyes, back open, coming back. My guest today, Saara Lee, is a premier Akashic Records reader, teacher, and healer dedicated to connecting people to the truth of their soul through the information current called the Akashic Records. She assists clients to connect to their soul essence, to find their life purposes, transform limitations, experience more freedom and authenticity. Saara has provided transformational healing sessions for the past 12 years with clients all around the world. She is an Akashic Records practitioner, Reiki master, channel, intuitive energy healer, and spiritual coach. She offers individual readings, online courses, and VIP one-on-one trainings in the Akashic Records. So let us welcome Saara to the show. Welcome, Saara.
Thank you so much, Terry. It's such a pleasure to be here today.
Yes, I'm so excited when you reached out. We've gotten to talk to each other, and we definitely share a passion, the Akashic realm, for sure.
For sure. The Akashic Records might be my favorite topic to talk about, so I'm really happy to be here with you.
And I'm really happy to have you as well. So as we go to begin, let's give our listeners a little background. What led you to working in this realm?
Sure. Yeah. Well, I heard my calling from the Akashic Records a little bit over a decade ago, and that's typically how it happens. We don't find the records, the Akashic Records calls us to them. And for me, it was just hearing the words Akashic Records over and over again in little ways. Seeing a book in a bookstore, hearing people have a conversation next to me while I was walking down the street, which was really bizarre. It was in New York, and I was walking down the street one direction, and this couple of women were walking the other direction. Right in that moment where we passed, I heard one of the women say the Akashic Records. And then that night for dinner, I went to dinner with a friend, and at the table next to us, they were talking about the Akashic Records. It was synchronistic, it was happening all around me, and I knew, okay, spirit, guides, whoever's telling me this right now, I know I have to look into that. So I began to look into the Akashic Records, and the first thing that I did is what most people do, which is to get their first reading. So I got my first reading, and as soon as the Akashic Records were open, it was amazing. This amazing feeling came around me, and it was almost like a blanket, a warm blanket was being wrapped around me, like I had returned home. This is where I belonged. I was seen, known, and loved in this energy, and it was incredible.
Mm.
So that was the first thing that I knew, like, wow, this is something powerful. I really need to learn more about this, was with that feeling. And then as I went into the Akashic Records session, what I learned was I came to ask about my core issue, which was unworthiness, imposter syndrome, and feeling like I was invisible. And I asked the Akashic Reader about that. And what came up was this amazing past life story that I don't think, looking back on it, there was any other way for me to have discovered this information. And when I found this out, there was something inside of me. It was like a bell that rang true, like, yes, this is it. This is what you've been looking for your entire life. This is that piece of information. And if we can only unhook this, we can unplug this, everything else will just settle in. I'll finally be able to move forward the way that I wanted to move forward in my life. And it was like such a revelation in that moment. So what I discovered was that in a past life, I was born mute and deaf. And so this was in ancient China, back in the day when if a child was born with a disability, they were usually left like in the forest to die, and that was really kind of the normal thing to do. But because my disability in this lifetime was invisible, I was allowed to live. And then it wasn't until much later that people discovered that, okay, that I was mute and I was deaf. But in that lifetime, I was treated pretty much as kind of like a slave, like a servant just running around serving other people. And these messages of unworthiness and worthlessness was sort of imbued into me. Every day I was given these messages like, oh, that, you're worthless and what good are you? And look at your disabilities and all these things. And so that programming is something that was really deeply ingrained inside of me from that lifetime. And then when I discovered it in the Akashic Records with this Akashic Records reader, it was like something inside of me just opened up. It was like, oh my God, that's what it is. And I don't need to listen to that anymore. I can let that go. And it was just a little bit of then it felt like a knot almost becoming unraveled and opening up just a little bit. I came out of that Akashic Record session and I felt like there was a part of me that moved just 1 degree. That's it, just a little bit, 1 degree, that was all. And something had shifted. And I had tried
Fascinating.
everything. Yeah, everything up until that point. I tried, talk therapy, yoga, qigong, tai chi, like all of these other modalities for healing, Reiki. And they were all very useful. I learned a lot using each one of those modalities, but it wasn't until the Akashic Records where I finally discovered, like, oh my gosh, something just shifted right now, and I have to find out more what that is. And so that's when I decided to really dive deep into the Akashic Records. Yeah.
Yeah, it is a fascinating experience when we can uncover something and have that experience. I'll be really honest, I did not have that experience in my first reading. I
Wow.
randomly found somebody online. I called and I had a session over the phone, and there was a coincidence because I didn't realize, but I had actually bought a candle, like a ceremonial candle from the same person that owned the company of the candle. So I did not know that until we were talking. It's not like I saw the candle and called her. But I really just had all this, like I had a reading given to me, but I felt a little disconnected from it. And I thought that was kind of interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I still had a curiosity. I still did. And I kept saying, well, why is it so fascinating? What else? And then I came across somebody that was actually teaching you to read your own records.
Mm.
And it was about this time of year, and I was looking for something to go deeper. And so I said, you know what? I want to go in there a little further. I don't think I actually got the fullness through that one reading. And then that's when a lot of the magic or the circumstances, experiences really started to shift. And then I really did find the power working in the Akashic realm. So I think it can be interesting, right? All the many different experiences that we can have.
Yeah, yeah, beautiful. Yeah, each one of our journeys really is different. And we're going to experience whatever is necessary in that moment. So maybe that's what was needed for you to like dig in a little bit deeper.
I
So,
agree.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Like, wait, but there's more. There's got to be more. And so it did allow me to then find someone to help me learn to teach the records. Do you find that that's different too? Like sometimes just getting a reading versus reading for yourself or reading, right? Learning to read for yourself. Do you find that that can be different experiences or better or not? Or,
Oh, absolutely. I've been doing this work now professionally for a while. I've read hundreds of clients, maybe it's up to thousands of clients now. But being in the records of another person is really empowering. It really allows you to see the difference and the nuance in everybody's records, and there's a great learning in that, a great reverence for the process, connecting to different guides, connecting to each one of our clairs in different ways, because each person is sort of stronger in a different clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, all of that. And we get to experience those things in other people's Akashic records. But also, as a records reader, I still go and see other people that are readers reading for me. It's sort of like we need to have that third person perspective, that neutrality, someone who's not like uber invested in what's happening right now that can give us a really clear reading. I still go into the Akashic records every day for myself, and I'm connecting with my guides. But if I have something big I'm going through, I usually go and get a reading as well. It's different. It's powerful in a different way. They bring in different information. So it's incredibly useful. I would recommend that to everybody, no matter what your level is. Yeah. Is that what
yeah,
you
I think
find?
both are important. I
Yeah.
do. I think both are important. I think that the accountability and the confirmation,
Yeah.
right? I think that confirmation is really important because I know I do. I teach a lot of people to read the records. And when they get the confirmation, then the confidence keeps building,
Yeah.
right? And then, as you say, if there's something really deep, really big, we do need that different perspective. So, yeah, I still work with teachers and get readings. And I read a lot for others too. I think they're both important. But I think the most important thing is when, whether you're reading yourself or having it read, when you start to feel within your body that energy that you're holding. Because the body does, it holds that. We don't always remember everything, but the body has the ability to hold some of those imprints, which is contributing to the behaviors that we see in the current lifetime.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's a really big message that you just hit on right there of what's happening right now. We're definitely getting a lot of messages from our guides that embodiment is very, very important right now. A lot of the spiritual practices in the past, didn't emphasize embodiment as much, but as we move forward into the future and the vibrations are changing as we move in the future, embodiment, grounding is really, really important to make sure that when we have our spiritual practices that we're bringing it back to the body, that we're grounding firmly, we're bringing those high vibrations all the way in into every cell of our being. It's so important for us to do that right now. Absolutely.
Right. Yeah, right into our everyday life. I agree because honestly, I would love just to hang out in the records, right? Just like go up there all the time and play and hang out. But until I can pull it back and bring it into the physical world we live in now, our humanness,
Right.
right? Like that's the importance of it, I think.
Yeah,
Right. I mean, it's fun.
absolutely.
People are like, oh, what kind of past life to have? But really, is that really helping? Right.
Yeah.
What's the energy? And I do like to work with imprints. What are the old imprints we want to remove? What about yourself? Do you have a favorite way of reading the records for people or uncovering records for people?
Yeah, I think my favorite thing to do right now, and it changes, is right now I love talking to people about their star seed as well as their soul
Mm.
purposes in this lifetime. Those are my two favorite things to kind of go in and discover. And it's not a thing where I tell people, this is what you've got to do, here's your career, and I name it. But it's more about like energies that are trying to come through them that their soul wants to express and experience in this lifetime. And they get to still have free will and choice and choose how they're going to express that, but it's about those energies coming through. So I think right now that's my favorite thing to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that with the soul purpose. And it is uncovering like what do we innately have? What brings that joy? How we execute it can shift and change, but I agree. I think it is quite fascinating. And I think sometimes we try too hard. What is it? What is it? Right? And it's like right there for us to uncover. So yeah, I can agree with that for sure.
Yeah.
Now, you've talked about the results that you've seen with yourself,
Yeah.
right? How in that one particular life, and you were able to uncover what was keeping you invisible or quiet or not voicing. What are some of the other results you've seen in your clients?
Um, I think that, starting with my story in that kind of way that you did, like from being in a place where I was invisible, that I literally could not speak in front of an audience, or if I did speak in a team meeting at work or something, that I would spend the whole rest of the day just mulling over that moment, replaying it over and over and over, judging myself like, was that okay? Did you see that woman's face? How did she react? Oh my gosh. And really, I was blocked so much in my fifth chakra coming from that lifetime where I literally couldn't speak. Now, in this lifetime, wanting to be able to speak almost as a representative of my past life self, wanting to finally express, but then not knowing how. Then moving into this place where, oh my gosh, I'm talking to you right now. I'm talking to this whole audience out there. I have something to say. It's about the Akashic Records. I'm incredibly passionate about it. That to me is the kind of thing that people discover where we might start out in one place and then we can transform it over time, even transform ourselves into this completely different person that has newfound abilities, has healed past life wounds and imprints and programs to then step into something bigger. And this is my version of what that bigger is. Like, here I am, I'm talking in front of you and it's okay. And I'm really allowing myself to have that voice and learning how to use that voice more and more. And I think that that is a great story, a parallel for what I see most of my clients do. They end up stepping into a bigger version of themselves. It really isn't very far off from where they are right now, but just unlocking one or two things, releasing, like you said, an imprint or a program or something, and then stepping up into a bigger version of themselves. And it's not just one step, but it seems to be like, that ever layered onion that people talk about, like, here's one step here, and you think that you've arrived, but no, wait, here's that next step. And then slowly over time, it's through the rear view mirror that we look back on our lives and realize, wow, I'm just totally a different person. This is completely changed. And who I am now is so much bigger, so much more engaged, more full, and really speaking from a place that feels authentic, from my soul level. And the Akashic Records are so great at guiding us to that. What is that authenticity? You don't have to seek outside of you all the time. Come back to inside of you, come back to that connection in the Akashic Records. And little by little, that authenticity will open up for you. And yeah, it's incredibly satisfying. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And how funny you talk about visibility because I recently shared an invisibility story about myself. I want to get visible, but I wasn't, right? And so as I delved into the records and looked at past lives and ancestral energy came forward, how I was taught not to be visible. I was taught to keep my head down. I was taught not to be out there getting known. And so I had to merge that energy and uncover what those imprints were. And also, too, it became like, okay, thanking my ancestors. Thank you. That was your survival. It's not mine. But that was huge because I had this little discord of energy between wanting to be visible and not getting visible and why. And so once I was able to uncover that and honor, like I said, honor the ancestral energy and allow me now to open up that voice in such a stronger way. Like you said, stepping into a new path for sure.
Absolutely. And then for you too, it's so important because it's not only for you, it's also for your children. Because if it's ancestral, it
Right.
means it could be passing down to them as well. So the work that you're doing, it's profound for the generations to come. Yeah.
Yeah, excellent point. Thank you. Yes, for sure. Yeah. Now you are so passionate, and this is how we found each other too. You have an Akashic Summit coming up
Yes.
where
Yeah.
you have gathered lots of different people. Tell us about that. How exciting.
Yeah, I'm so excited about this summit. It's called the Akashic Records Unlocked Summit. So it really is about unlocking those gates, unlocking the mystery, unlocking your soul's truth, and discovering the Akashic Records. And I'm so passionate about the Akashic Records. And I feel like in this time, The Akashic records are really starting to bubble up in mass consciousness. Like more and more people are learning about it, and it's reaching this kind of tipping point. And so I want to be a part of that movement. I want to spread the word of the Akashic records because I know that in my life it's made such a huge difference, and in other people's lives as well. And so I've gathered together yourself along with six other experts in the field, people who are pioneers in the field, have experimented with different things, each have a different kind of method, modality, specialty in the Akashic records. And we're all getting together and we're talking about the records. Now, when people first discover the records, the first thing to do is maybe buy a book, learn what the records are, learn some sort of sacred prayer process. And that's really wonderful. But what I love about this summit is that it goes even deeper. We're talking with experts about, well, what is it that you do every day with clients? What are the best things that you've learned? How can you use it for real deep healing? So this is sort of like not just the beginning, but really like graduate school level and beyond PhD level. Like this is what you do every day with clients. And I think that's something that you just can't like find in a book or in a video. These are really deep talks and they're based on experience. Hundreds, thousands of clients. If you collectively put all the years together of the summit speakers, it would be hundreds of years of experience, right? If each person has 10, 20 years of experience, that's a lot of expertise, insight, wisdom about the Akashic records that we all can tap into. So I'm super excited about it. You can find out, sign up for it at akashicrecordsunlock.com and sign up for the summit, and we'll definitely get that information to you so you can watch these interviews.
Yeah. So when does it take place?
It's January 25th through the 31st, 2025. Those are the actual dates of the summit. If you end up missing part of the summit, don't worry. There's also an option. You have to pay just a little bit. There's a nominal fee, and then all of the videos could be released to you. So that's always available as well. So yeah.
Huh. So what is your mission with all of this?
My mission is that, especially right now during this time, there is so much chaos, war, misinformation happening in the world that right now it's more important than ever for all of us, each one of us individually, to tap into the truth, our higher truth, and our connection to our higher selves. And the Akashic records can do that. You can do that work in the Akashic records. So my mission is that every person on the planet is able to connect in with their guides, their higher self, their soul truth in the Akashic records, and then be able to live with that being their inner compass, their authenticity, their soul's calling. That's my mission.
Yeah, and I stand with that. I really do. Because I think the greatest gift right now we can have is for each of us to come back into our center, to find what that truth of our voice, of what we believe, what we stand for. There's so much out there, so much information, so much AI. Sometimes it's hard to tell, right? And so only can we come into ourselves and find what that vibration of truth is for us. And then we can use it for, to ascertain other information. I mean, come on, you talk about star people. Let's talk about that for a moment. But look at everything going on with the drones and all the sightings. Like what's true, what's not? Who do you believe? Who do you not? But when you have that knowing within you, and I keep coming back here, like deep into your heart, it helps you to understand more information. It really does. Yeah. Yeah, and
Absolutely.
I'm super excited to be included in the summit. Yes, I really am. So you talk about star people. Let's just talk about that for a
Okay.
moment. What do
Yeah.
you recognize with that for you? What have you learned?
Well, right now at this time, there are so many star seeds out there, star people out there, and they're really sort of rising up and finding one another because they feel that call. It's almost imperative right now, like, oh, I kind of don't feel like I belong. There's something different. There's something more out there in the world. And so starseeds begin a journey of seeking. And once we begin to seek, we end up discovering these deeper layers of what's out there besides what we see with our naked eye. And it's in those depths of spirituality, energy, our soul and our soul's truth, all of that, that we're discovering a whole new world and that we are all out there. I feel like we're a little bit disconnected. And so what I'm discovering right now is that more and more people are coming together, discovering each other, creating community, creating families for themselves, star families for themselves. And so for me, that call is really evident everywhere. And so more star seeds are beginning to show up. And with those star seeds, this idea of more stars seeds showing up is too that even our own technology is getting better. Like we have like these new telescopes and things, we're discovering more star systems. And guess what? That means that we're discovering more star seeds that are out there. And when we discover that in science, the parallel information is also downloaded to us through the Akashic records or through channels. And so we're discovering that there are even more star seeds showing up. So there's a lot more information coming through right now. It's really an exciting time to be learning about your star seed. And if you're listening to this video, you probably are a star seed. So it would be good
I
to look into
agree.
that because you're being
Yeah.
called. Yeah.
And I'd just like to add on that, like you're saying, like once you can confirm that, once you can talk to other people and get that confirmation, so much more information comes in. On my
Yeah.
podcast, about a month or two ago, I was interviewing Barbara Handcloud, who's written so much about the Palladians, so much about nine dimensions and all. And I was telling her a story about me and one of my first encounters with the Lumerians. I would
Yeah.
wake up from the crystals and it was like I had another lesson. I had another, and this kept going on and on and on. And to this day, I've barely taken any crystal classes, right? But I have this knowledge. And she's like, yeah, that's Lemurian. You are spiritually being sourced. And she encouraged, like, yeah, continue. And the more I kept going into it, the more messages every day, even now, are coming in. So I
Yeah.
think what you're saying is when we can connect and we connect with others and can learn more, that confirmation is there and we can grow with so much more information. I really think it's so powerful. Yeah,
It is so powerful.
definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the purpose of the star seed is to come here onto the earth plane and incarnate and add that one little drop of that vibration into the total collective human experience. So for you, being a Lumerian, having that wisdom about earth healing properties and earth healing energy and the crystals and programming of crystals and the intelligence within crystals, all of that, you are adding that to the collective. And it's so important right now. And it's really valuable. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, AI gets all my information and puts it right back out there. Just teasing. Teasing, but not teasing. But I
Right.
still say it. And I still have this feeling. I'd probably, I don't know. I believe it. And I really do. I still have this feeling like from the Lumerian seed crystals, all those little codes gave us barcodes. I
Yeah.
don't know, whoever channeled that and brought it forward, where did they get it from? And look how much we use it now, right? So I think it's stuff like that that maybe we can't confirm, but we know and we feel and we
Right.
can allow this to come forward. And then I've actually had many other visitations since the Lumerians, even like Octarians coming in, like, okay, now we have to put this into the physical world because Lemurian is very up in the air, right? Very all that spiritual knowledge and peace and
Control.
compassion. But now for me to be able to bring it forward. So it is quite fascinating. And in my class I have coming up, I'm actually going to teach one of the lessons on star people because I have
It's
been
great.
learning more and more. Yeah, and I think it's really important, like you said. And I think too, with the drones and the Skylinks and all that star information, we can trust it and not be afraid of it. I think that's going to help all of us. I think it's
Yeah.
going to help that integration of energy and information, technology all coming forward. Yeah, definitely agree.
I think the biggest thing that I felt as a benefit from knowing my star seed was all of a sudden I felt like it finally makes sense. It makes sense. Why do I feel this way? Why have I felt a little bit like fish out of water or this unique kind of quality I have? I'm always looking up at the night sky and just sort of daydreaming and feeling a longing for those stars. It all makes sense now. And
Agreed.
it was able to give me a little bit of peace, a little bit of grace around that. Like, oh, this is why I do this. What I'm looking for is I'm looking for home. That's what I'm looking for in the night
You
sky.
do
For
call
the,
home,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
exactly. And so then it just made a lot of things make sense in my life. So that was great.
Yeah, and there is a familiarity that comes forward. And we notice that in the Akashic record, like the language that you see or the colors or the sound, something sounds very familiar. And that's where we go. That's when we bring that in and go, okay, what else? What else? What else? We ask the questions. But I do think working in the Akashic realm, it is medicine of the future. Color, sound, shape, sacred geometry, all of that is what we're reading and interpreting so our humanness can bring it forward. So I do. I really do. I love working in it as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, beautiful.
So you've told us about the summit. It begins in January 25th and where to find it. What about your work? What can you tell us about that? Who you help, how you work, where can we find you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm an Akashic Records reader and teacher and healer. So I also teach people how to read their own Akashic Records. I teach people who they are on a soul level by opening their records and reading from the records to them, so they could discover this soul level information. And then sometimes I've included the word healer in there because sometimes it does, the guides will show me like, ooh, here's a moment where we can heal something, release something. So we do that together with the guides. So that is my sort of job title, if we wanted to put a title on it. But really, it's just all about it is about connecting people to the Akashic Records. You can find me at akashicrecords.com. So it's really easy. I'm right there. And yeah, learn about the records. There's some good articles on there that you can do just a little bit of research, and then you can book a reading with me. So that's my favorite thing to do. Yeah.
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 Vows are big.
Big.
Vows are really big, and you can go in and fine tune, which is something I've been working with. I was in New York during 9/11
Yeah.
and stepped up to the plate. And I remember when I became an ordained interfaith minister, took a vow to help humanity, and that was huge. And so
Huge.
now it's like going in and really kind of fine tuning. What does that really mean instead of it being so huge, like narrowing it down? Because otherwise it can feel very, like daunting. Like, how can I ever get all of this work done? But we can work with those kind of vows and clean out and contracts, new spiritual contracts I talk about a lot, but definitely. So how awesome is that? I will put all the links into the show notes so people can sign up. Definitely.
Thank you. That would be
So
great.
what a pleasure. We have very similar interests and passions for sure. And as we go to close, I like to come back and ask this question. How do you feel that working in the Akashic Records now can help to empower the spirit?
Yeah. Right now, connecting in with your Akashic Records, with your guides, you can learn that you are never alone, that you're always guided, and that there's a purpose for everything that you're going through now and that you have gone through in the past. And knowing that, it's an incredibly empowering thought. You are the master and creator of your experience. And with your guides, you really can create just about anything in your Akashic Records. So please find out more about the records. It's just an amazing resource. And it's really here to help support all of us.
I so agree. You are the master and creator of your life, your plan, your dreams. Why not live it for sure? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. What a great opportunity to learn more about the journey of our soul. Thank you so much to your
Yeah.
spirit.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Terry, for having me. It's been a pleasure. I love talking about this, and I'm so happy that we've made this connection and we're sharing this
Me
time
too.
together. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, we all can tune in to the messages of our soul, access the records, the wisdom. You are the master and creator of your experience, your path, your life, your dreams. And with your guides and your angels in this deep connection with your soul, you really can create just about anything for your everyday life here on earth. All the links for Suara and the Akashic Record Summit will be in the show notes. We are at the brink of big changes. Now is the time to develop your spiritual practice to empower your spirit. Reach out, schedule an energy session, in person or virtual, to experience this work for yourself. Thanks again for listening. This is your host, Terry Ann Hyman. To your spirit, namaste. Come join me in my next complimentary Akashic Realm training, Energy Imprints. Learn about imprints, how they get in your way, how they keep repeating, and how to uncover them so that you can remove these blocks and find the freedom for your path, your life. I'll put the link in the show notes.